Hello, ladies and gentlemen of the interwebs. I am DaMinion. A little treat here today. I finally got myself a webcam, which is completely new. I've also got myself a snowball. It's an amazing mic. I don't know if you guys have ever used it. Makes it for some extremely good quality audio. Myself and Thepromise are going to be using a lot of these new things. Like I stopped using the old headphones, started using these. They're amazing. It's the I don't know the exact name, but they're Razer. So anyway, the purpose of this video is to talk to you guys about some video game reviews. I've been doing a lot of thinking about doing this, and since Thepromise and I both haven't played Spec-Ops, I thought it'd be a pretty cool thing for me to go ahead and do a little review on it. I know this past week, not this week, but last week, Thepromise did a video talking about how really shitty reviews have been coming out. And what I wanted to try to do is create one that's not so shitty, something that's not really biased. So this is all leading up into a full-on review of Spec-Ops The Line. So I've also created a WordPress. The whole point of this is so that if you're at work, personally I can't stream while I'm at work. So what I like to do, instead of using my phone, I like to go up and read about it. So I'm doing this so that you could choose any medium that you would like for any of my reviews. So let's go ahead and begin. Spec-Ops The Line is by far one of the better stories. Has one of the better storylines that I've ever played to this day. It's got a different kind of flavor to it, I think. The amount of blood and gore that occurs within the game makes it really difficult for like a 13 or 14-year-old to play, with their parents' permission, obviously. But at some points, I even got a little sick. Sometimes guys were throwing grenades, and when they would throw the grenade, you know, if it lands next to them, the physics is pretty realistic, and you would actually see their body parts explode. It's pretty gruesome for the most part. However, the storyline itself is fantastic. It brought out a lot of really crazy emotions as I was playing the game. The game itself is what I would consider to be a masterpiece. I think the rating that I gave it was a 9.2, and for anybody that knows me, that's a really, I would say, that's a really high score for me to give any game. Usually it's hard for me to get a game above 7. So let's just go in a little bit about the game. You start off as a captain of an elite team known as the Delta Squad, and your team is the best in the world. They don't trust anybody else to do really difficult procedures and executions. So they come to you and they say, hey, we want you to go in and we want you to try to find this squadron. They've been lost for so long now. And you go in, and the first thing that you encounter is this encampment. Actually, the first thing you really encounter is a row of cars that have just been completely demolished, and dead bodies, charred, you name it, it's there. And you walk down through this path, and you're in Dubai, and I believe that's in the Middle East somewhere. I don't know exactly where. But anyway, you're in Dubai, and you're going down through here, and you just see all these charred bodies, all these it was just a bloody mess. And you come up to this section where there's just a circle of cars, and there's a bus behind you, and there's a LAV right in front of you. For those of you that haven't played first-person shooters and whatnot, an LAV is a light armor vehicle, and one of your Delta Squad comes up to you and pulls this guy out of one of the LAVs, and he's a freshly killed body. and if you wonder when I look to the side, it's because I'm thinking. One of your buddies pulls him out and puts him on the floor, says, "Hey, this guy's pretty fresh. Don't know when he died. This is one of the guys that you were supposed to save." And then all of a sudden, behind you, on top of a bus, these guys start firing at you, and they're yelling at you and things of that nature, and you duck down behind these crates. And one of your partners actually knows how to speak Dubai. I don't know exactly what language he's using, but he starts talking to the guy, and when diplomacy fails, they open fire. Well, the thing is this game plays so hardcore off of physics that if you actually do try to get up and fire at them in the harder difficulties, it'll pretty much kill you. So the idea is that you have to use the environment around you to help execute these gentlemen, or these gunmen. Can't believe I called them gentlemen. So you fire at the glass. There's this bus that's sitting. It's full of sand, and it's sitting on top of this other bus. And you fire out the glass, and the glass just shatters, and all of this sand comes tumbling down on top of them, taking out all the gunmen. That makes this game so fantastic. The amount of work that they put into physics and the amount of... It's extremely riveting. There's not too many games out there anymore that are this detail oriented, so it's really fantastic for 2K games, and I believe it's Jaeger Studios. Might be wrong. It's at the end of the write-up, but it's absolutely fantastic that these guys came up with this new concept. And I haven't played any third-person shooters that I've really liked, with the exception of maybe Space Marine 40K. But with this game, this is by far taken the torch, if you will. And what I'd like to talk about a little bit is some of the graphical engines that they used, and some of the physics engines. And throughout the entire game, for instance, when I threw my first grenade next to a body and it exploded and the body just pieces everywhere, I was like, oh shit, that did not just happen, but it did. And it was one of those oh hell no moments. I can't believe that, they would... I'm speechless. Like, I can't really explain the amazing aspect of this game that is the reality that they've displayed. It's ridiculous. I felt like when I was playing this game that I was actually the guy playing or firing my weapons and throwing and having the experience of actually being there. Now, I can even go on to say that some of the feelings that I felt during this gameplay were phenomenal. Actually, I haven't felt... If any of you have seen Elfen Lied, that's pretty much the same emotional aspect that I felt the whole time. It was one decision right after the other. And a lot of times it was either you kill this person, or you kill this person and all of these people, or you kill this person to save the mission and save these prisoners of war, or you let them kill the prisoners of war, save this guy so that you can get this intel to do that. And it was just amazing how the game went through, and it really, I felt like, in a way, made you feel how can I describe this? It really made you feel like you were the one in control, and at the same time it made you feel like you could be a complete animal. So a lot of times, like, I'll tell you this one part, it's not really revealing, to say the least. There's this guy that gets pinned under a truck after it flips. And you have the choice. He gives you his revolver, and it's only got one bullet in it. Now, you can either use that bullet to help you later, or you can follow this guy's request and kill him because he doesn't want to burn to death. Now, personally speaking, I took the path of just letting him burn. Why? I don't know. It was just some animalistic tendency that I had, and as I walked past, I remember turning my screen simply so I could see him burn. I'm a horrible person. That was the first thing that I thought to myself after I got past that point. I'm a terrible person. I just let this guy die. But you know what? There's things about this game that allow you to do what you want without any really serious repercussions. And I think that is by far one of the most amazing things about this game. The only repercussions that you really get is at the end when you're like, did I really do that? Shit. And it's one of those games. And to be honest with you, I've never played a game like that before. One that gives you many paths that you can choose, where you can either be, use your animalistic tendencies, or you use your logical thought, or you act caringly upon someone else. And I can tell you that as you go through the game, your character goes as crazy as you do while you're playing it. So the captain that you're playing, let's just put it this way. You start the game, and when you're going through it, you're only supposed to set off a beacon and then walk away. You're done. 5-10 minutes into the game, you're done. However, your character goes nuts, and you just keep pushing forward, and pushing forward until you eventually get to the end. Now, I want to try to keep this kind of short, because I know that not everybody likes to look at a 30-minute review. And the ending, I'm going to try not to give anything away here. I liked it. Overall, I loved the game. It was a fantastic game. Phenomenal job by 2K Games. I was a little disappointed in the ending. And this is why. It reminded me a lot of Fight Club, to be quite honest. As you're going crazy, well, yes, you go crazy, and we'll just leave it at that. Yeah, because I don't want to give away the ending for you guys. However, the scripting, the things that occur at the end, the amount of choices that you have, there's 4 endings. 4. And they were all great. Even though I was a little disappointed at how the end turned out, it was still amazing. So, a lot of you right now are probably thinking, well, okay, well, I've heard all of that. Is it worth it, or is it not? And I'm going to tell you right now that this game is totally worth it. If you got the $50 to spend on it, and you've got, say, 20 hours to play, I would totally recommend anyone to this game. Like I said in the beginning, I rated it at a 9.2. And I stand very solidly against aside that statement. So, for anyone that's watching this, if you really want to play a third-person shooter and you really have never experienced a game where you get to choose paths, aside from Fable, obviously, excuse the phone. Aside from Fable, this game is by far the most wicked game for choosing paths. And just play it, and you'll see why. So definitely, if you've got 20 hours and $50, play the game. Trust me, you will never regret it. I don't regret it to this day. As a matter of fact, I really want to play through it a second time. However, I'm going to get started on Prototype 2 so that I can get back to you guys hopefully within a week. And until then, ladies and gents of the interwebs, I will see you next time.